Hello, this is Jamie, the NP. I just wanted to start a new project where I interview people that I am inspired by in the moment. So that is why I'm going to call this In the Moment with Jamie NP. I've told so many people that I wish that I could have people sit in my patient visits. I do mental health visits for people who seek out my services. A lot of the times they're just your everyday normal human being. They're parents, they're business owners, they're people who are just doing their best, trying to live their life. And life happens. They maybe sometimes going through a divorce, recent death, just some sort of stressor going on, and they seek out my services. And I get to have the opportunity to learn more about who they are. But ultimately, obviously, that's not something that is legal to do. I can't have people sit in. I can't record these visits. So I wanted to be able to show others moments that I am interacting just in my own everyday life and am feeling inspired by someone doing something. So today I had that opportunity because I was going to the gym and I was taking a very popular class that they offer there called Body Pump. And I ended up asking the trainer who was running the class if I could interview her afterwards. And she had no clue that I was going to be asking her the questions that I did. I didn't even know that I was going to be interviewing her at all. We ended up having a visit that went for 6 minutes and 22 seconds. And with the recording system that I used, apparently when you switch over to just look at your notes that you take on a notes app, it stops recording. So my heart was broken as I re-listened to our interview. It cut out over 4 minutes or so of our interview. And so I'll fill in the blanks of what happened in between. And but hopefully you can decide if you're inspired by this, if you want to apply it to your own life. And thank you for listening. All right, so first off, thank you for agreeing to chat with me. We just finished up a workout. I feel like I'm still shaking and dying, but I wanted to just interview you real quick because I was in the moment inspired by you. So can you first introduce yourself, tell me what you do for a living?
I'm Janet Winter, and I own and coach gymnastics, JAGS Gymnastics in Monticello.
Okay, cool. And so what got you into this type of work?
I don't know, I love working out, and it feels right all the time, and I love helping people, so.
Have you always been like that? Was it ever hard to get into athletics, or was there ever a time you didn't want to, or is it?
Well, I was an athlete in high school, and then I went to college, and I gained 50 pounds and started running.
Okay.
Just all on my own. I'm just like, I gotta do something. So then I just started running, and then I ran my first marathon in 1991.
Wow.
And I've been running.
Janet eventually mentioned that she gets a runner's high when she exercises and that her husband is also into exercise and it's a way that they are able to bond. And then I ended up asking, I'm like, speaking of your husband, she had mentioned in the class that on May 1st, 1999, they got married. So they're going to be celebrating next week. And I asked her, so what's the secret? And she ended up mentioning that she believes that it is communication. And that the whole family is like that they're honest with each other. And she had mentioned that even when her mood is feeling a little off, he will lovingly nudge her and say, you need to go run. So I thought that was so sweet that's what their family does for each other. She also mentioned that she has 3 kiddos. One of them's in grad school right now and working towards her physical therapy degree. And she also mentioned in the workout class that she has a son who currently has, in her words, a porn star mustache. And they were teasing each other because that's what the in thing is now for people in his age. But it wasn't something that she was necessarily appreciating but did mention that at his job that he works at as a bartender, he made $650 in tips. And so it's working for him. And she said, if I would have been in college at this time, then that's probably what the cool thing would be to do, but that's not what's cool for me. And then we talked about how some parents look at what their kids are saying is cool and sometimes alter their own behavior based off of what their kids are thinking is cool. And she goes, oh no, nope. And mentioned that her son has teased her about her glasses that she wears to read. But she says she likes them, which I totally did too. Janet's cool as heck. She also mentioned she has another son that she's very proud of, that's a senior in high school. So before we finished things up, I ended up asking her about a scenario that came up during the workout. And I'll let you listen to that. Right when the class was getting ready to start, there was a person who got upset. I'm not going to get into what happened, but the thing that I was super impressed by was it was something that you had no control over. You didn't have any control over what this situation was, this person was mad about, and you handled it. And then not only that, you kept your normal, your tone, I don't feel like you missed a beat with the exercise. I don't think, how did you do that?
Years of experience. It's just experience. Yeah.
So were you feeling anything in that moment?
No. That's not the first time that's ever happened. The class is very popular, and so people have yelled at me before, or just, they just vent. And I feel the hardest part about working out is getting there. Mm-hmm. And I'm not somebody who's going to tell somebody you can't work out today. Sorry, you got here late and the equipment's all taken up, but just make it work.
Yeah.
And so for somebody else.
Of course, this was only part of her answer, but the thing that I was most inspired by is that even though she was dealing with a situation with a person being angry at her, when I said, you handled it, the way she handled it was she did apologize. She did offer the person to stay and continue to work out with what was left over, even though that room gets so full. But this didn't, when the person left, it did not impact Janet at all. Like in her mood, her attitude. I see so many people that when rough things happen, it can set them off and they can't even function. They can't continue on with their day. They can't be nice to the people around them. And they use that as their reason as to why they can't continue to be nice to the people who are still being nice to them. So I was just totally impressed. Her classes are just so inspiring. It is so exhausting. And then even afterwards, before she agreed to do the interview with me, she goes, can I just get my pull-ups in first? It only takes me about 15 minutes. This woman mentioned that she went and worked out with her son before the class that almost killed me. And then she goes and does even more pull-ups. So the woman is absolutely gifted physically. She looks amazing. And she's got a heart of gold and can handle very tough situations with grace. So I was incredibly impressed. The other thing that I was super impressed with is I didn't have this interview planned out. I had no clue that I didn't know if she was going to agree to this. It was just some spur of the moment. So I'm a little disappointed that the whole interview wasn't captured because it felt so good. And I wish I could have been able to share this with you guys, the full thing and just the feeling of it. But the thing that I thought was so cool afterwards was when we were getting up, walking out of the conference room, Janet asked me what I did for a living, and I let her know what I do. And she just said, this was humbling. And I thought that was just so cool that she was willing to accept the compliment that I gave her. And she thanked me for complimenting her on that because it wasn't something that she was seeking any sort of compliments on how she handled that. That was just who she is. So hopefully you got something from this. Hopefully my goal is just to be able to show people how amazing people are and how there are so many amazing people that are so gifted that are out there and that y'all are just so loved. So stay tuned. I'm sure there are going to be more interviews in the moment, and I'm definitely going to learn what the heck I'm doing with how to record these things so it can translate in the person's voice that it's actually being interviewed. So have a good rest of your day.